We turn now to the candidates themselves. All eyes tonight were on former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty, one of the frontrunners for the 2012 GOP nomination. Here's a look at his performance from earlier tonight.
There is a group of individuals who are radical jihadists, and we need to call them by name. And they believe it's okay to kill innocent people in the name of their religion. It is not all of Islam. It is not all Muslims, but there is a subgroup who believe it's okay. In fact, it's their plan and design to kill innocent people. The people and the mindset that killed 3,000 of our fellow citizens on September 11, 2001 would have killed not 3,000, but 300,000 if they could have, or 3 million, or 30 million. We need to do everything we can within our value systems and legal structures to make sure that doesn't happen.
And joining me now is former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty. He's here. Governor, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, Sean. Thanks for having me.
How did it feel the first debate, all right?
Well, it's great, and I really appreciate Fox News for doing it. It's an important discussion. Fox was first to have it, and I was glad to be here and take the case to President Obama.
You know, it's interesting because this focus group of Frank Luntz are pretty angry that some of the other candidates weren't there. But do you think there are some legitimate reasons as of this early date that they're not here?
Well, I think some are undecided about whether they want to even have an exploratory committee. So if they're not decided, I suppose that's a fair excuse. But, you know, it is already May. We've got a country that is $5 a gallon gas, $4 a gallon gas. We've got unbearable unemployment and a federal government that's out of control. We got to take back this country, and we got to get off the sidelines and take it to President Obama.
Let me go to the question, because I wanted some clarification as I was watching the debate tonight. The question came up about 2 years ago and the issue of waterboarding. You were against it 2 years ago? Because I really wasn't clear on...
No, I was listening carefully to the clip that Chris played, and I don't think it said I was against it. It said, you know, we have to balance these factors when you use it. And so, of course, you have to balance the factors. But I do support enhanced interrogation techniques, and obviously their value is shining through with respect to the bin Laden killing.
You had a really big applause line when you said the first job of the federal government is to protect the people in this country.
Of course.
Now, when you look at all that we're learning about this, where enhanced interrogation, rendition, black sites, tough interrogation, sleep deprivation, all these methods are used, the very policies President Obama opposed, if they were not used, we would not have gotten bin Laden on Sunday. What does that tell you about the president and his mindset?
Well, I think when the dust settles on this, somebody should go back now and ask the president, when the record is established as to whether those things, and I think they did lead or at least contribute significantly to finding bin Laden, go back to the president and say you opposed all of that during your campaign. You exploited it to the detriment of Senator McCain or President Bush. He was very critical of President Bush. Ask him now. Do you regret those statements? Did you change your position? Would you support those techniques now? I think the president owes the American people that explanation or clarification.
Or at least give President Bush some of the credit,
right?
You know, about these issues. You know, because we're not going to have the success in the future.
I met with President Bush once in the White House towards the end of his term, and the race was unsettled between Senator McCain and Senator Obama at the time. President Bush said, I don't care who gets in here. When they know what I know, they will do about what I did.
Yeah. What do you think as you look at the weaknesses? I thought this was an interesting point. Where are the greatest weaknesses, if you were to win the nomination, that you see with President Obama, and how would he be defeated?
His economic policies are a disaster, and his worldview about the role of government as it relates to job providers and growing jobs in this country is ridiculous. The number one thing I hear, Sean, around this country when I talk to people about what it would take to provide more jobs, they say, get the government off my back. And this president is putting more of the government on their back, and they're discouraged. It's too expensive, too slow, and the like.
Let me ask, as we move forward on economic issues, you support tax cuts.
Yes, I do.
How would you balance the budget for the federal government? And then begin the process of paying off $14+ trillion of debt, which is only going to be higher now soon?
Well, the main thing, there are many things we have to do, but I governed a very liberal state. I had the first government shutdown in 150 years. I set a record for vetoes. I unallotted more money using executive authority in my 8 years than all the other 140-some years of governors combined. So you got to draw lines in the sand. But it does lead substantially to reforming entitlement programs. We have to look the American people in the eye, tell them what we're going to do, and it includes this. We have to raise the retirement age for Social Security for new entrants into the program. Don't scare the people who are already on the program.
How do you define a new entrant?
anybody who's not yet contributing to Social Security. So people who are coming into the workforce at age 16, 17, 18, that retirement age will raise gradually over time. I think we have to means test, for example, Sean, the COLA, not the whole program. So if you're wealthy, you're not going to get as big of a cost of living adjustment in the future as if you're middle income or lower middle income. We got to get into the meat of this. It's urgent. And there are similar answers, by the way, for Medicaid and Medicare. But those are examples of proposals we can get a majority of the country to support. And we need to fix this problem and use this debt ceiling debate as an opportunity to force the issue.
Let me go to an issue that's concerned me, and it's about what I describe as the hypersensitivity of the White House as it relates to Islamic extremists. We didn't use the word war. They didn't use the word war on terror for a long time. Mirandizing enemy combatants on the battlefield is another issue that I take issue with. And you look at, for example, do you think they should A, release the photos? You said yes tonight.
Yes.
B, what did you think of the funeral that took place, where we're told that bin Laden is not a Muslim, he represents a perversion, a hijacking of Islam, and yet he got full Islamic custom, buried within 24 hours, body washed, put in a shroud, 40-minute ceremony on a warship, and it was even interpreted into Arabic. Was that a mistake?
Keep in mind, when you're dealing with terrorists and rogue actors, we're not dealing with the armies in uniform of established nations in battle. So these are folks who are rogue terrorists. They're outside of the bounds of even normal battle. And to suggest we have to extend them all these additional courtesies, is something I think we should consider.
Do you think it was naive by the president? Do you think it was naive by the administration?
I think it was appropriate. I think they did the right thing in terms of sensitivities to say, look, we're going to try our best and make a good faith effort to bury him or to put him to rest in a way that's appropriate.
But isn't he one of the radical Islamists you were talking about tonight, and he doesn't represent mainstream Islam?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Muslims.
But you've got to also think about what is our strategic or tactical goal here. And what we want to do is try to minimize other people like him becoming inflamed or operationalizing against the United States. And if we would have buried him in a way that inflamed them or was disrespectful or inappropriate, that potentially could have put our men and women and our citizens in harm's way.
Governor, great to see you.
Okay, Sean.
It's great to get the ball rolling tonight.
It's
going to be a lot of fun. We'll hopefully be seeing you a lot on the road. Thanks for being with us. And coming